Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to Adam's TV Podcast. I am your host, Adam Samuel. Today, we are talking about Auditions episode number 3 of American Idol 17 or 2, but 17. Joining me for the recap is my co-host, Eric. How you doing today, Eric?
Doing good. Finally, I can say that the talent has arrived because I haven't liked anybody until this episode, and I'm actually kind of mad at the editors for waiting until now to give us people. So I tweeted out that the title of this episode, unless Adam comes up with something better, is "My order of talent is 2 episodes too late," and it's gonna literally. It's like. I ordered talent 2 weeks ago when the first episode premiered, and it's finally being delivered now. So it's late. It's good. It's still delicious, but it's late.
It's a good title. I do just want to mention at the start, I know we were actually scheduled today to have Skylar Dixon on for an interview and to cover the recap. She's actually sick, so she couldn't make it today. We are going to reschedule. She's still going to be on the show. It's just not going to be for this episode. Other news, just in housekeeping terms for the podcast, this is going to be the first episode that we are going to be doing that will have a spoiler section at the end. So for people watching, if you want to hear us talk about some spoilers, we are going to do that at the end. We will give you a spoiler warning. You will know in advance when to bounce if you're not interested in finding that out. Also,
and the spoiler section will only be available online. So if you're listening on the feed, I'm surprised you're not listening online, but if you're listening on the podcast feed, you'll have to go to YouTube and check it out.
Yes. Like I say every podcast, at some point, Eric puts a lot of effort into editing these podcasts down for iTunes, FeedBurner, and every other place that you could possibly think of. And if there isn't a place that we're not on, let us know because we want to fix that. So that's kind of the overall basis of the stuff that we kind of need to touch on. And now let's get into the episode, Eric.
Let's get into it.
All right. First off, a lot of people online, both on Twitter, on the news sites, on the forums, they're calling this the best audition episode so far of the season. It's number 3, but they're calling it the best. Do you agree?
Almost by default, it's the best, honestly. The fact that there's anybody, I last episode I didn't give anybody above a B+. I don't think. This episode I have 1, 2, 3, 4 in the A range, and nothing lower than a C.
For me, my lowest grade is a C. Also, I got to tell you, like in terms of my letter grades, this is by far definitely the most I've given higher tier grades, which is just a little cool. I mean, I feel like continuing the trend of these American Idol episodes, we only had one contestant that got a no over 2 hours. Like, I'm really liking this new format. I didn't particularly like how that one no was handled, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But, you know, American Idol's probably really going all out with showing us some good talent. And I appreciate that. I like this new change. It's good. Right, Eric?
It's good. I will say that I wish they showed us some of this talent in episode 1 when they got the most viewers and they could keep them hooked and say, "Oh, these people are really good. Let's keep them watching." But that's the problem for the editors. As an editor, I can say they should fire their editors.
Yeah, some of these segments. There was one contestant, Riley, who we'll talk on a little bit later. They edited her where she sang with guitar, and then all of a sudden she doesn't have the guitar. And like it's a little jarring to watch, but because you do also notice that like people walk in with a guitar and then all of a sudden they say, "Oh, I'm going to go play the piano." So then why'd you bring in the guitar? It's because they had them perform a song with it and then asked for like something different. It's Idol is as Idol does. Otherwise, I don't really have that many notes. Let's get right into the contestants, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right, so the first audition was kind of a bit of a two-parter. We are introduced to 20-year-old Ashton Gill from Livingston, Louisiana. She has this whole story where she's actually she's friends with Lane Hardy from last season, who was a favorite, who I believe, Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, was cut in the Green Mile. Am I correct?
Before Top 24, I'll tell you that much. I don't know if it was Hollywood Week or Green Mile.
I think he was cut with they did one of those doubles where the two people walk together. I think it was Garrett or was it Johnny? I think it was one of those two guys. And they did like one of you is going through, one of you's not. I still believe that last season Lane Hardy was robbed. I think he was one of the better contestants of last season. He could have added a lot more, but he didn't make it. So, but he's not. He announces, Eric, he shares with us, he is not auditioning this year. He's not auditioning. He is just here.
Oh, bullshit.
He is just here to support his friend Ashton. They're friends. They're close. He's just going to accompany her on guitar. So, but so they walk into the audition room together, and all of a sudden, this poor girl, I got to tell you, like, this poor girl comes in. It's her big moment. She's sat in a room all day, like just probably stewing and being stressed about this audition. She finally walks in with her friend, and all the judges, it's the Lane show. They like ignore her, Eric. Like, right?
Yeah, basically. I mean, to be fair, she's not spectacular, but she's good enough. She's fine. And she shouldn't have had her whole moment taken by someone else.
I really feel bad for her. Like I can imagine like all that preparation to kind of just be glossed over. She barely even like outside of her song, she was barely spoken to. Like she did her quick audition. She walked off, like stood by the judges. That's it. This was just very strange. But you know, there is that one way of seeing it. But on the other hand, maybe her connection with Lane helped her get on to this episode. Like 100%. Maybe without it, she might not have been featured. So, you know, I'm always thinking like maybe that could help her in a future season. Maybe she wants to come back. Maybe they'll be more inclined because at least she was on the show. Maybe do you think that's like
maybe she can find a friend who was auditioning and the cycle can continue.
But anyway, let's put the talk on Lane of Lane on hold, and let's just talk about her for a second. So which is more than the judges gave her, but she is performing "Broken Halos." I think it was by Chris Stapleton. Am I correct?
I don't know.
All right. Well, anyway, what did you think of her performance? Fine,
not spectacular, good enough, B-.
I wrote it was okay. She has the story. She's a nursing major. This audition, though, I have to tell you, was ripped right out of season 11 with Colton Dixon and, ironically enough, Skylar Dixon on American Idol. This was basically the exact same situation. But anyway, Asher was good. Like, it was solid. Okay, she definitely deserved to move on. But I don't know really what her path is. Like, what do you think she's got a shot of going far in this, Eric?
Probably not.
Yeah, this sucks because I can just imagine. I know Eric and I can already figure out how this story is probably gonna play out. Like they're probably gonna make it to one point. Maybe it's like the group rounds, and they're gonna have them stand on separate rows, and it's just gonna.
Yeah, one of them is gonna step forward, the other one's gonna step back, and then both rows are not going through.
I was going a different way.
What?
I was going that it would be like one's going home, one's going, you know, like when they cut one and they send the other one through.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, well, anyway, I gave her a B- from me. I thought it was good. What about you, Eric?
I gave her a B- as well.
Yeah, like I said, just solid, but nothing kind of spectacular. But you know what? Maybe if she does end up getting cut, we might see her next season. And I guess
with a friend, hopefully.
With a friend who she doesn't like that much.
Yeah.
And now I guess we should talk about Austin. Oh, wait. Lane Hardy is going to audition.
He's not going to audition. But he's gonna perform.
Yes.
But he's not auditioning.
This was, I mean, Lane Hardy's mother is waiting with Ashton's family. Like, how did they not? Like, what do you think the thought process was for this? Do you think, like, from Lane's perspective, do you think they told him, like, oh, you'll go in with her and maybe if they ask, you'll audition too? Like, What do you think was going on?
I don't know, but I know it felt incredibly forced. Staged.
I mean, to be on a season of American Idol, like you have to sign a lot of paperwork. Like there's a lot of like waivers and things. Like
yeah,
this was just a very weird segment. So she gets the golden ticket, and then they're kind of like saying goodbye to the judges, and they kind of ask him to sing, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'll sing," and he performs "The Wait." I don't remember who it's from. Do you know who the artist is, Eric?
I don't know.
And he performs the song, and this poor girl, he's incredible. Like, really, really good. Like, I'll be honest, I think this was the second time of the season, maybe, I gave a contestant an A, I think, right? I gave Lane Hardy's performance of The Wait an A. It was really good, like, really good. His voice is, like, just phenomenal. I'll be honest, I think he's going to be a contender. Do you agree, Eric?
I agree, but he's really not my thing at all. He's probably going to go really far. He has people. Not my thing. I gave him a B-.
The thing is, I didn't really, for me, I don't know where, is he a country singer? Is he a rock singer? That's the
much
thing.
More of a country singer, and it's not my thing. It's not. I don't know. He's probably going to go really far, if not win the whole show. But, yeah, not my thing.
Honestly, I think this season he's better than I remember him being last year, which says a lot. Because
last year I would have given him a C. This year I gave him a B-. So
you gave his performance a B-?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm much higher on it. I gave it an A. I think this dude is phenomenal. And I'm going to ask this question because this is something I was just thinking. All the way back in season 11 when Colton Dixon auditioned, I thought he was, in my opinion, he was of my favorite two contestants that I followed that season. And I thought he was going to possibly win. But he ended up being a bit of a shock elimination top 7 week. Do you think that could maybe be a trend that continues here with Lane, Eric? Do you think he might be seen as a contender and then fall short as a shock elimination?
Based on the fact that I like other people so much more, I hope so.
I'm going to say no this season. I don't know why, but I think Lane's going to be big. I think he's going to go far. But if he does, that'll set the precedent for anyone who kind of does it when the producers kind of do this kind of dual segment where they're going to bring a returning contestant back. But honestly, he's one of my favorites this season. And that's, I don't say that lately. Him, Alejandro, and a few others are the ones I'm most looking out for. I will say there was one kind of very funny thing about this segment with him. It's after Ashton performs, the judges kind of beg him to perform and then give him the ticket. It's kind of a flip. Usually, like the contestants are the ones like, please, like give me the golden ticket. And in this case, it was the judges doing that. It was
they were saying, please take the golden ticket from us.
Yeah. Another thing that I just noticed, once he walks out of the room with Ashton, all of a sudden someone like hands over a number and they put like a American Idol number. Like they totally knew. Like it's like, what's the saying? It's like putting lipstick on a pig. It's like you're trying to cover up what's actually going on. But like I said, I'm happy to have Lane back. I think he's going to go far and could maybe even be the winner. And I really think that.
I think that too, but I'm not happy about it.
Maybe he could have a good run. I think I don't think he's 100% country. I think he's got a little bit of rock in him. I think he's not gonna be a traditional country, the token country boy. I think he is going to do something different. With returning contestants, like I said, this is another reason. Like I have that bias towards him. Returning contestants that I don't know. I just think he's going to go far. That's all I can really say. I've repeated myself enough.
Yep.
All right, let's keep it going with Austin Michael Robinson. This is, I think, the youngest or one of the youngest contestants we've had auditioning yet. He is 15 years old. His family drove very, very far to audition. He's a country boy, much more country than Lane, I think. He lives on a farm. When he talks, for me, it's a little mumbly. There were parts of when he's talking when I couldn't really hear him, but he comes in and he is performing a song that always is evocative of someone else. It is Your Man by Josh Turner. Eric?
AKA Baby Lock Them Doors.
What do you think of this performance and Austin?
Just not good enough. I'm sorry. It wasn't good enough. There's even better country singers. He was the second. It's tough. I think I gave him the lowest grade of the episode.
I think he tied with someone else who didn't get through.
For me, I gave the other person a little bit higher, but yeah, I just gave it a C, honestly.
The thing is, I was watching his performance, and while he's performing, first of all, he doesn't open his mouth all the way, like when he's singing. Like the words kind of come out like if I was talking a little bit like this. Like it's not going out enough. I don't know. He's not projecting enough, I guess is the thing, which is something that I think could be corrected. But this contestant, Austin, would have gotten a no for me. Honestly, I don't think he's ready. I think the draw of him was he's kind of doing a lot of Luke Bryan dance moves.
Yeah.
Is that what you would call it, Eric? I don't know
what I'd call it. It was cute, but yeah, it's not good enough.
Yeah. I wrote down a lot of rough notes here. It was, yeah. I don't know what was going on. I don't think he's ready. But he does end up getting through. So
some people are caught in Hollywood Week.
Wow.
Sadly.
Harsh.
I'm sorry. I you know what? Just it bugs me when the judges put people through when we're not gonna make it. There's no chance in hell we're gonna make top 14. It bugs me.
And not only that, but he's doing Scotty's song.
That's not the problem. The problem is that the judges put people through if they're not 100% sure they have a shot. It's setting them up for failure, and it's really mean, actually.
Maybe he'll prove you wrong, Eric. Maybe he'll go deep. You never know. But what I was talking about earlier with this is Scotty's song. I can't, if I'm walking or I hear this in the mall, I always think this is Scotty's song. Like it's this song. There are few songs in my the catalog that I have in my head that are just owned by one person, and this is just one of those examples. And you can't do that. Like it's his song. I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts for Austin. He's got a okay voice. He doesn't open it enough, and he's too young. He's not ready. I don't think he's ready. So I mentioned this earlier, but I gave him a C. Is that the same you did, Eric?
Yep.
All right. Any final thoughts, or let's keep it going?
Let's keep going to the Katy Perry is annoying hour.
All right. Well, this was actually funny for a reason that I don't think a lot of people really caught. But we get this next segment, and the segment is it's all New York. We're seeing pictures of the city. It's playing the Frank Sinatra song. We get Katy Perry. She comes in. It wasn't at the start of the audition. She just started randomly dancing and singing to New York. It was really random. And when I was watching this, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I can understand what's going on. What's going on is, Eric, do you remember Sal Valentinetti from?
Yeah, I know what you're talking
I was
about.
thinking we were going to get a very New York contestant. I was thinking someone's going to walk in who's going to be like a stereotypical New Yorker. He's going to talk like with an accent. He's going to be very New York. And no, we get a guy from Pennsylvania. I was just like, that was a bit of a weird transition. I don't know. Did you find that weird at all?
Not really. I wasn't really watching that part, but I watched the performances mostly for most of these contestants, and I just saw Katy Perry dancing with a woman. I'm like, okay, I'm done. It's annoying, but thankfully, it doesn't matter that much because despite powering through the distraction, I'm almost certain that Jake is fodder.
I just can't get over that. I thought we were getting. They were I felt like they were priming us. They were getting us ready for this contestant who's all New York. But anyway, let's talk about, I'm going to mess up his last name, and I apologize. Jake Politi? Am I correct?
Sure.
All right. He is a 20-year-old. He has this whole intro package where he talks about how people are surprised that he's a singer because he's kind of a bigger dude. He looks like I don't even know why people like what's wrong with playing music. I don't know. But he is performing his rendition of This Is How We Do It, which is a very popular song. But Eric, what do you think? What are your thoughts on Jake?
As I said, despite powering through a distraction of Katy Perry just doing the worm on the floor in front of him, he's fodder.
Yeah.
But I will also say that I can't listen to that song and not get angry because it was the theme song to Howie Mandel's TV show that was on for a while.
Why do you got to do that? Why do you got to evoke that image in me?
I'm sorry.
All right. I just want to also really quickly talk in the chat. We got Catherine Turner. I feel that Lane overshadowed Ashton. 1000% I agree with you, Catherine. Her name is actually Kathy, right? Though she goes Katie's mother. Am I correct, Eric?
Yes.
All right. So
Welcome
Kathy,
back.
I would 100% agree with you. Grace in the chat says it was The Wait by the Band. Yes, that was the band. That was the name. I got it right. Got it wrong. I'm sorry. Grace also says the same thing happened to Skylar Dixon in season 11. Colton wasn't auditioning and she was ignored. He got through. She didn't. Exactly the same thing with Ashton and Lane. Yeah, exactly what happened. Which is ironic, like I said, because Skylar Dixon we were hoping that she would be joining us for this episode. But next time we have her on, we will definitely talk to her about that and that whole and what her thoughts were. But any thoughts on that, Eric?
Nope. Let's we invite her to come back and then give her PTSD, I'm assuming.
All right. Well, anyway, let's get back to Jake. For me, this was really bizarre because Katie, I almost said Katie Turner. Katy Perry ends up coming, walking onto. It's not a stage; it's like a little landing, and she starts doing dance moves, and she's like all in it. And Jake is kind of just, like you said, powering through it. But he's got a good voice. I think
he's got a decent voice. But the problem is the audition wasn't about him, and your audition needs to be about you if you have a shot, as far as I'm concerned.
You're right. I agree that they didn't make this audition about him. They kind of made it about Katy Perry. But I thought there were some really good parts there. Like I thought he
was good, but
some parts were off. I think his voice is good. I think it's untrained though. I think like with some solid training, I think he could be a threat. Like he's maybe not a threat, but he could maybe like make top 24. Like I think he's got potential. But the thing is, I feel like this whole segment is kind of one of those segments where it's not about the singer so much as it's about the shtick or the town or the something the judges do.
Or latest potato chips or whatever it was last week. Yeah,
exactly.
All that type of stuff.
Which is a bummer because I think this dude's really good. Like I thought the song was, he kind of did a flip on it, this is like a classic old school, well, not really old school, but it's like an R&B song. And he kind of,
all I think of when I hear the song is Howie Mandel. So I can't say anything good about that song.
Was the show good?
No, it was a hidden camera prank show, standard fare BS.
All right. Well,
it was. I'll say this: it was better than how he is on America's Got Talent, which is such a low bar that I might as well not even say it.
All right. Well, for me, I gave Jake a B. I thought solid.
I gave him a B minus.
All right. Any final thoughts?
No, let's move on to my opinion, the third best of the night.
All right. Well, we get very quickly. We get some auditions of some singers that don't get through. There were some pretty bad ones here, but let's just keep it going. We move on to our fifth auditioner of the night, I guess. Our fifth highlighted auditioner of the night. It is Sean Robinson. He is 21 years old. He works at a hardware store. He is performing, I believe it was Who You Are by Jessie J. I got that right?
I think so.
What did you think?
Very, very nice voice, and probably the third best of the night, I'd say. In my top 3 for the night.
I'm going to agree. I think he has, I don't think I would put him in my top 3.
Because you put Lane in your top 3.
I did put Lane in my top 3. That would have been the switch. It's a quiet voice. The thing is, I don't know how versatile this voice is. When he sings, it's very, intimate and it's very soft, and it's like one of those. It's like a little candle. Like it's a beautiful candle, but it's gonna need to explode to be on the stage, and I don't know if it will make that transition well. Do you kind of understand what I'm saying a little bit, Eric?
I do, except Maddie never really exploded on the stage last year, and you loved her. So
Maddie did explode. Maddie had some pretty incredible performances, I think.
She kept, but not like high energy performances. You know what I mean? Like
she did. She had Walk Like an Egyptian. She had
her voice is very lilting like this.
I think Maddie's more. I think Sean is more like projecting inward, and Maddie was projecting outward. I think is the difference, though. Like when Maddie would perform like a quiet song, it would be almost like she was telling a story a little bit. But when Sean, it's more like he's.
We've only seen one performance of him, so we can't judge yet. But
yeah,
you sort of get where I'm coming from, right?
I totally understand where you're coming from, but I think he's definitely a solid singer. But I think he'll get lost in the shuffle moving forward. I think unless maybe he could prove me wrong, but that's kind of my opinion. I gave him a B+.
I gave him an A-.
All right. Do you have any final thoughts on him? We kind of got him really quickly.
Let's keep going.
All right. Well, one thing we do have to talk about really quickly is we get a segment fresh off his win of Dancing with the Stars. It is Bobby Bones. He is returning as the mentor. Eric, what are your thoughts on this news?
I don't know what my thoughts are. All I know, well, I'm curious. I would like to hear Katie's thoughts because she actually worked with him. But
yeah, Kathy, if you're still watching us, let me know. Let us know what you what
you all thought of him, because
what you guys thought.
From what we could tell, it wasn't very good.
It's very rare on American Idol that we kind of get
a good mentor.
Like the only ones that I could think that were really effective were previous contestants. Like it was
David
Kelly
was
Clarkson,
amazing. Kelly was
Adam
amazing.
Lambert.
Adam was amazing. Adam did a great job season 9.
Like we got to grade the mentor levels on a curve a little bit.
I mean, the thing is, like Jimmy was a good judge, but he was not a judge. He was a mentor, and he was terrible as a mentor.
I'm sorry, but Grace just said in the chat, Grace is a serious Dancing with the Stars fan, and she says, we don't discuss last season of that show.
Oh, yeah. I'm assuming this is the Grace that interacts with me on Twitter, and yeah, I noticed.
For me, like, I just want a mentor that will do no harm. Like that's like
I set my standard higher than that. I want someone who is actually going to mentor the contestants and help them out and tell them if something's not working and work on song choice, work on arrangements, work on all that stuff. And the fact that we haven't had one of those is probably partially why we haven't had as great performances as we could have had from some people on Idol.
In the chat, Grace says, yes, it is, Eric. And we also have an answer from Kathy Turner. Katie liked him, but it was just one visit. I felt like we got them more though. No, they were. When did Bobby do mentoring? I thought he did Hollywood.
He did top 24 and then he did top 3, which
that's
Katie
it?
should have been at. But yeah,
but that's it. Like he's the mentor, and he's only on for like.
Well,
what else is he doing?
He was a part-time kind of sort of mentor last season. He's actually full-time this season. So.
Full-time. So every week we're gonna get him. So is he gonna be like? Oh my god, I forgot his name. Oh, I forgot his name. Jimmy
Iovine or Scott Borchetta?
No, the one from season 12. Jimmy Iovine. I totally
he worked at Apple for a bit after that.
Doing what?
Apple Music.
Oh, that's cool. Kathy Turner in the chat says she agrees. I think she agrees with you. Am I right? I think.
I don't know.
All right. Well, let's keep it going, shall we?
Let's talk about Nate.
Nate Walker. Nate Walker is 18 years old, and he has a story where He is actually he has a bit of a connection with Gabby. I almost said Katie again. My names are getting a little messed up. But Gabby from last season, they are friends. They've known each other. I think they were like since 10. They were 10. And there's this really cool video of them like singing next to each other. Like that was a cool moment for me. I was like, that's pretty cool. He is performing "Say Something" by A Great Big World. Eric, what do you think about Nate?
For some reason, I did not see that voice coming out of his body. He's great, but for me, the runs were a bit much, a little bit excessive. And if he has a ton of potential, and if he knows how to dial things back and only do a limited number of runs, he could be really, really good.
Yeah, the first thing that stood out to me about his performance was he was super nervous. Like he seemed like totally like, which does get me a little nervous because nerves, you know how they are on American Idol. Sometimes, like, this is a question that's good for Katie or Kathy, if you could answer. Like, how did Katie kind of handle nerves on the show? Like, what was what?
I mean, the nerves. Yeah, the thing about nerves is that, I don't know.
For some people, it can kind of like empower them to kind of like they live for those moments. Like for me, I can never like under pressure. Like with a lot of people, like. I
tried karaoke once and ended in tears.
Really? I mean, I play a little piano and just the thought of like people watching.
Yeah.
Like, but anyway, I want to say, Kathy in the chat says the mentor should be a former contestant. Yep. 100%.
Because the ones that we've had do that have done really good. And the ones that haven't been mixed results at best.
All right. Well, in my opinion, Nate, this was very good. I wrote, he is super, super talented. I don't know what's going on in Gabby's church, but it's just producing these really, really good singers. Like it's going to be 2 seasons down and we're going to get another singer from that church and he's going to be amazing. I don't know what's going on. He's got a big voice. Like it is he's kind of like.
You agree with the runs were a little bit much, right?
A little bit much, but I do cut some slack for the audition episodes.
I do too, and so I gave it a B+ because there's a ton of potential, but the runs were getting on my nerves a bit because when every word ends in a run, it's a little bit much for me.
I agree. I get what you're saying, but I think this is another star talent. I think
potentially yes.
I think I didn't rank him as high as Lane. I gave him an A-, but this dude's good. That's really all I could say. Like this is one to watch, honestly. And I do also want to go back to the chat. Kathy Turner says it was really tough at times for Katie, and she prayed a lot. I guess that could work for some people. It's a lot of how would you like offer advice, Eric, to someone on one of these shows who maybe is a little nervous? Like what advice do you?
Why is it my job?
Because I don't have a good answer.
Because neither do I. Let's keep going and talk about Wade, shall we?
And that's how you pivot. All right. Wade Coda. He is 27 years old. He has a really, really terrible story with his mother. He and his mother are very close, but he has a father who he described as the devil, which right off there was very rough. He has this whole story about how he was physically abused, and some of these details where I was like, this is a little difficult. Like this poor dude, like what happened to him? He talks about his father kicking him in the ribs and like his mother taking him and running with his siblings. I like, holy crap, this is rough. But what did you think about his story, Eric?
I didn't watch it, so I'm hearing it for the first time now. That's awful.
Yeah, this was really hard to watch, but he comes in and he performs. I don't remember what's up. "Blame It On Me" was the song he performs. Did you get to watch his performance, Eric?
I watched a performance. I watched everyone's performances. I think he's not necessarily my thing, but he's got a very nice voice. And I think he picked a great song for himself personally. I think the song fit his voice really well, which is a very good sign for his future prospects.
Yeah, I wrote down for me. I don't know if I'm going to draw this comparison. I don't know if it's going to click with you. Mumford and Sons
Very
was.
similar, yeah. They're actually you remember. Do you remember Josh Krajek from X Factor?
I didn't watch that season.
Damn it.
I watched the first season. I watched was with CC Fry.
Okay. So
It was
you
the only
see,
one I remember from that name and from that season, in including Fifth Harmony.
okay.
But yeah, the one thing that stood out to me is Wade's singing voice is entirely different from his talking voice. Like
Yeah.
it totally like I was like, whoa, like it like totally switched gears. The thing is, he's kind of in this like Mumford and Sons kind of category, and the thing that's the best about Wade is so far this season, I think he has that all to himself. Like he's the only kind of singer in that
That sounds like
genre,
himself, yeah.
and like that is on a season of American Idol. That's like being Cade Fainer. Like you're the only rock singer. Like he's the only one. So this could be changed because it's only the third episode, but I don't know if we're gonna get another singer like him. And that is a huge like check plus for him. I think he could do very well with votes. I don't know if he could quite win. I don't know. I think top 5, maybe.
Top 5 is definitely doable for Wade.
Yeah, but I think from that point it might get a little rough. But great performance. Very, very good. I gave it an A-.
So did I.
He's another favorite of mine. Like I'm starting to build the favorites that I'm maybe thinking about for when we do a draft a little later in the season, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
And Wade's another favorite of mine.
Okay.
Any final thoughts on him?
Nope.
All right. Well, next up we have second youngest contestant of the episode, Riley Thompson. She is, I think she's a country girl. Is that correct?
I forget.
We don't really get that much of her backstory. We kind of just fall into her audition. She performs an original song called "Oh Daddy." I wasn't the biggest fan of the song, Eric. Or were you?
Not really. I will say she's good. Better than most of the people in the first 2 episodes. Not on the top 3 of the night for me.
Her voice is very airy. Like it's usually like when we get country, like girl country singers, they kind of, I don't mean to like generalize, but a lot of them kind of have a similar like vibe and a similar voice. Hers is kind of very different. Katy Perry makes this comparison to a country Lana Del Rey, and this is one of the few times where I actually kind of agree with her. I do see that comparison. She kind of blurs the genres between like country and whatever category Lana Del Rey is. She kind of has that a little bit to herself. Is it alternative? What do you think, Eric?
I don't know. I thought she was good though. That's all. I remember she was good, but
yeah. I wrote down. I'm not sure she'll be a front runner in this competition, but she's pretty good. I think though. I don't really know what like. If you're her coach, Eric, and your one job is to make sure Riley Thompson can give the best Idol run to get her as far as possible, what's your game plan? What do you think she needs to do to kind of get into that frontrunner status?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, I think that, well, the country vote is good, so she needs to stick with country. I mean, there's a big country voting block as we've seen on Idol in past seasons. I don't know.
I don't know either. This is a really tough case to work with. I bring this comparison up. I don't know if many people who watch our podcast are familiar with the singer on The Voice of Amy Vachel. I don't know if you know her, Eric. She was a bit of a jazz singer, but she took a lot of songs and kind of really adapted them to her style. She did give 2 performances. One of them was a Taylor Swift song, Blank Space, and she kind of totally flipped it to kind of fit her genre. Like Riley's kind of this like question mark where she kind of isn't, I'm not really sure 100% where she falls. So my advice to her is take songs that kind of do fit into a country song or a Lana Del Rey song and kind of flip it so it's her own. That would be my advice. And if you haven't heard Amy Vachel, she is one of my favorite contestants to come from The Voice. And I think she had one of the best runs, honestly. She was very talented, even though I think she was saved top 24. Don't know. Anyway, that's kind of my thoughts on Riley. Any final thoughts on her, Eric?
Not really.
All right. Well, let's quickly keep it going with we get a contestant whose name I for a moment I thought was are you familiar with this last name? I've never heard of someone with the last name Lemon Jello. It sounds like a dessert that you eat in a hospital.
Wow. Wow.
It does. Like,
damn it. Now we have to change the episode title.
That was a good line. Yes, so this is Peter Lemongello Jr., his father. I believe his father invented the infomercial, if I'm correct. I think that was his segment. He's from Boca Raton, Florida, and he is performing Can't Help Myself by the Four Tops, made famous by season 12 of American Idol.
Oh, don't remind me of that one. That one was...
Burdell Taylor and oh my god, I forgot the last person.
All y'all just go get off the stage.
There are some moments in American Idol history that are known for being incredible performances, and then there's the opposite, and that is like in the top 3 spots.
That's probably, I think that has to be the worst performance that's ever been on the Idol stage, right?
No, it was All Against All Odds by Paige Miles. That was well, at least she sang
exactly. She remembered her lyrics.
Every time this is another case of like the Your Man song. Every time I hear this song, I remember watching that performance live, and like Lazaro forgets the lines. No, and he made it to top 6. Yep. All right. Well, anyway, what did you think about Peter Lemongello's performance?
He needs to stop dancing on stage. A little cheesy. He's okay, nothing spectacular. I'm not surprised he got cut. I didn't watch what happened after, so I heard it wasn't good.
All right. Well, I don't know. I don't know if the dancing was because he wanted to or the producers were kind of like egging him on to do it. You don't really know. His story is his father is like pretty famous and he knows these people like that. He's singing their songs. It was a little braggy, but that could just be chalked up to kind of him feeling like he needed, like maybe the producers told him to talk about it. But he ends up getting a no, which I'm surprised. I would have said no also, but I'm still a little surprised they actually did it. And the performance, he's not, I'll put it this way. He's a better singer than I will ever be. Like, there's there's talent there. It's not the best, but it's somewhat of a talent. It's like it's not a talent that you would go perform on American Idol with, but it's maybe a performance that you would sing happy birthday to like your family member.
Wow.
You know I didn't mean that to sound harsh. I'm just saying like that sounded harsh and I didn't mean it to sound harsh.
I was thinking you were saying like a karaoke bar to impress your friends.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I'm all I can say is I'm really surprised I said no. I would have said no, but I'm actually surprised that Luke said no. And he was pretty upset that he didn't get through. He actually talks about how he was upset with I think he calls Luke Bryan that guy, like he didn't know his name, and it was like this really strange segment. And the worst though is that as he's told no, the producers kind of kick him a little bit where they do this infomercial like that's kind of mocking his father's thing that he would do, and they kind of poked a little fun at him, but I think it was a little bit mean-spirited, as I apparently was by saying. I didn't mean it. I didn't watch that
part, but I heard bad things about it, so yeah.
All right. Well,
the worst part of Idol.
I gave it, ironically enough, it tied with another contestant that performed tonight. I gave it a C.
I actually gave it a C+.
Wow. All right. Well, let's move on. Let's talk about Clay Page, another country boy. This is what is that? That's 2 this episode.
2 or 3 or 4, maybe. Who knows?
Well, for the season, I think we're at like number 5 by now.
We're number 7 or 8.
All right.
We'll stop counting eventually.
He is, like I said, he's a country boy. His uncle taught him how to play guitar. His uncle unfortunately passed away. I believe he says while he was in the room with him, like Clay was visiting him for like 20 minutes. And while he was there, he passed away, which is terrible, but at least he taught him how to play guitar, and he can hold on to that moving forward. I wrote down on my notes, he seems like a pretty cool dude. He performs Die a Happy Man, which is one of those cases where the song kind of connects to the story a little bit too much that it's got to be someone picked it for him a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's good. I wrote down, it's very, his voice is very, it's simple. Like, I don't know. What did you think, Eric?
I thought it was okay. Nothing special. Pretty generic, actually, is what I would say, honestly. Very generic country.
I share your sentiments. I totally agree. But the thing is, in my opinion, I have Lane so far number 1 for the country spot. I think Clay is a very solid second placer, in my opinion, in the country boy genre. No. I mean, of the ones that we've had in the past, I don't really remember many of their names this season.
I don't remember their names, but I know that I gave Clay a C+ as well.
I disagreed. I gave him a B+, actually. I thought he was pretty good.
Maybe it's just my country bias, anti-country bias downgrades everyone a letter grade. Who knows?
I wrote that he's got a story. He's got a pleasant voice. That's the most you could hope for from kind of the country singers on American Idol.
I agree. I think like there are some for a couple country singers in the past that I've actually really liked. The only male country singer I've liked is Trent Harmon, but
I mean, in retrospect, like watching some of the old American Idol performances, I did enjoy some of Caleb's from last season. There were some good ones. I liked some of Scotty's performances. I don't like any of Scotty's. There was only one time that I think on American Idol that I actually ever really fully rooted for a country singer. It was Janelle Arthur. Funny enough, we're talking about
her
season 12. Who else?
I was rooting. Who was that? What country singer I've been rooting for? I liked Creed back season 12.
I didn't. I was hardcore on the Janelle train. Janelle and Angie Miller, who's now known by an entirely different name these days.
I was Candace and Cray. I was really happy that season.
I was so mad that we're talking about season 12 and I'm getting annoyed. They treated her so badly, Janelle, that season. They were just always trashing her, and she was the one girl that they didn't use the save on. Anyway, what were we talking about again? All right.
Drake McCain. Let's move on.
All right, let's move on to Drake McCain. He is a 17-year-old singer from Spring City, Tennessee. He has this story where he works in a grocery store. He does groceries. He puts things in places. He helps people to cars, and he's also got a lot of hair. Like it's like very.
Oh, very he is the tall hair guy. Okay, I remember.
What?
No, I remember.
Yeah, he's got a lot of hair. He has this story where he has 8 sisters and 2 brothers, and his mother, the fathers of them are not in the picture. So it's just him and his mother and his siblings, and he's trying to help support the family. The judges right away point out the hair. It's like the elephant in the room. It's like you can't miss it. Like in a crowd, if you look through a crowd, you're very quickly gonna find Drake McCain. He performs His Eyes on the Sparrow, and afterwards, the judges ask him, and they kind of also do a little rendition of Oh Happy Day from Sister Act 3. Eric, what are your thoughts?
He's good. I like when he harmonized with Katy Perry, but unfortunately for him, Idol wasn't a show that has groups, so being able to harmonize isn't going to help him long term. But he was good. He was good-ish.
I don't have that many notes about Drake.
Neither do I.
He was okay. Which, for better or worse, that also means he's kind of could get lost in the shuffle of votes. I don't think go on.
His problem is that he's followed by the 2 best auditions of the season so far in my book. So
he's a very Christian artist, which is fine, but I don't know that it's going to. I don't think it's going to transition to votes. I don't know. Do you think so?
It might not.
All right.
It won't for me, but it might for some other people.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't have that much to say. I mean, it was good. It was kind of just lost in the crowd of the other contestants because the last two of the night, Eric.
Finally, I got to give out some A's.
All right. First up, we got a quick montage of some contestants. I don't have their names written down, but they were both okay. And we move on to Madison. I kept messing up her name. How do you say her last name, Eric?
Vandenberg.
I thought it was Van Denberg. Like and then weirdly I started thinking about the Dinkelbergs, which is yes. She is from. This sounds like a dirty word. It's not. Cohoes, New York. She is a piano player, and she performs for this episode "Speechless" by Dan and Shay. And Eric, we've talked in the past. We talked even in this episode. I feel like I have a lot of biases on American Idol. I'm biased to returning contestants, and I'm also biased to piano players. And this girl is very good. What do you think, Eric?
We can finally agree on something. Yay! For me, she's the best audition of the season so far. I am super excited about this girl. I mean, she's no Kelly. The fact that they compared her to Kelly is blasphemy because she's no Kelly. But then again, who is Kelly? She's really quite great. Perfect song choice. I downloaded this performance.
Downloaded it? How?
You know, you can download anything from YouTube. Right. How do you think I get this podcast up on every day?
We get a lot of comparisons to Katie. Again with the Katie Turner. I'm sorry, my mind is like.
We got a lot of comparisons to Kelly and
Kelly Clarkson, and I gotta tell you, like, there were some notes that this girl hit that I went like, that's money. Like, that's a money note. That's another money note. That's another money note. This was incredible.
Finally, someone good.
I'm gonna say my top 3 so far of the season, with Alejandro and maybe Lane. I'm
sorry, she's in a different league to both do.
I don't know. She of the girls this season. Of
the contestants this season,
she's one of the front runners. This girl's really good.
She's not going to win, unfortunately, because, you know, I don't never let me have my way. But right now, she's my favorite.
I want her to just every performance always piano. Pianos are good.
No, not necessarily. She needs to be versatile, but we'll find out.
Do you think she can be versatile? Do you think like?
I think she can. We'll find out. I mean, if she can't, then I have a backup favorite who's next up. But
since you enjoyed her so much, have you checked out? Does she have any covers on YouTube of other performances she's done? This was, well, I said this earlier. I haven't given out an A+ this season, and I gave Madison an A. I don't know if I could. An A+ is kind of only for like the legendary performance, like auditions for me, like the ones that you just. Well,
maybe it's because I've been so depressed with the lack of talent. I gave her an A+.
Well, I gave her an A.
It's like when you see water in the desert and you're just like, oh my God, it's the most amazing thing ever.
Yeah. The girl just sings like effortless. Like it's just like it rolls right off. Like it just seems like she's like made for this. She's like
ready.
There's an American Idol like perfect contestant like creators, and all of a sudden like every few seasons like 1 or 2 contestants pops out, and this season it's Madison, and don't know if she'll win. I'll agree. I think though she can make top 5. Like
I want her in the finale. I don't care.
But. All right. Well, we only have one more contestant left. It is Jeremiah Harmon. He is 25 years old. He performs an original song. He's a piano player. What did you think about Jeremiah, Eric?
Well, first of all, I downloaded his song too, actually, because the full version of his song is on YouTube. So I just need to say, as a gay man, it hurts me to see people about situations like his. Hurts me as a person who's alive and has any amount of sympathy for others, actually. I'm just really lucky that my parents and friends are much more supportive than his are, and it really sucks. And that just pisses me off to see stories like that. As far as the talent goes, he's not better than Madison. But for me, he's the second best audition of the season so far. I like him a lot. Great voice, heartbreaking story. I want him to go far.
I don't know if I would put him top 3 of the season. I think he's, in my opinion, so far, top 7. I think I wrote down, this was a phenomenal performance. Like, you kind of mentioned most of his story, but he also works as a janitor at his father's church. He's a PK? Is that's the term?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is. But anyway, his performance is, like you said, it's an original. Very moving. He is one of those contestants that I feel this season is going to kind of wear their heart on their sleeve. Like, their performances are going to be all emotion. Like, he is one of those contestants that's he's going to take aim on your emotions, and he's going to go for it. He's going to try to bring out the tears. That does kind of make me think how, like I mentioned this earlier, I always talk about versatility when I look at auditions. How versatile is he going to be? I don't know how he'll handle up-tempo songs. I don't know how he'll. Do you agree, Eric? Do you think
So when do you care about that?
I always care, because if a contestant is going to go far, I want to see all different sides. I want to see. For his audition, I gave an A-. I think it's a stellar performance. Going forward, I don't know where this journey is going to take him. What do you think?
I know where it's going to take him. He's going to cut first week of live shows if he gets there because he's gay, like happened last season for everybody. That freaking sucks. But I like him a lot, and I want him to go far.
I'm rooting for him. He's another favorite of mine. You kind of stole the words out of my mouth. I think he might be in trouble early rounds if we kind of followed the same trend that last season went on. But he's good. He's very talented. He's also one of the older contestants of the season, he's only 25, but we've gotten so many younger contestants.
Oh, I'm 25. I don't want to be considered one of the older ones.
I mean, I'm just looking back, and I think he was the oldest auditioner of the episode. No, Wade was older. Wade's upper age limit, right? Wade is at 27. What is the age limit still? Is it still 28? So he is he's like the grandpa.
Yeah, I remember Nick.
Oh God. But that is kind of our show. And we kind of, I guess, touched on this earlier, but Eric, if you got to pick a top 3 from the night, who's your top 3?
Madison, number 1. Gap, Jeremiah, number 2. Huge gap.
Lane?
No, definitely not Lane. I'd say probably Wade, actually, now that I think about it.
All right. I'm going to go. Oh, this is hard. It's going to probably be Madison, Lane, and then it's a tie for Wade and Jeremiah in 4th for me.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's kind of the episode, Eric. Like a lot of people said this was the best of the season. All right. I'll agree. It was probably the best episode of the audition episode of the season. Do you think we could top it next week?
God, I hope so, but I don't know.
All right. Well, any final thoughts on the episode as a whole? Any of the contestants? Anything you still want to touch on? Now's your chance.
Let's do that. I mean, there's something else that we want to touch on, but let's do the introductions and then cut spoiler corner.
All right. Well, then I guess to our viewers, I'm going to say that my name is Adam Samuel. You can find me on Twitter at Adam Soapbox. Run my 2 websites, adamsoapbox.com and adamstvblog.com. Where can we find you, Eric?
Eric_Ascher on Twitter, Eric Ascher01 on YouTube, and ericascher.com. And I will, again, one more plug. I'll have videos of Crystal Bauer socks up on Friday and Kelly Clarkson up on Sunday. Yeah.
Ask them to come podcast with us.
I'm not going to meet either of them. I met Kelly once, though. That was 2 years ago.
Was she nice?
She's super nice. She's so genuine.
All right. Well, I guess at this point, I'm going to, for the first time of Adam's TV podcast, American Idol, this current season of coverage, this is your spoiler warning. This is, if you do not want to hear spoilers, we are going to, I feel like we need a picture, something with Britney Spears when she says sorry, I don't get it, but we need that equivalent for the spoiler section.
We'll get it. I'll make one for next time.
All right. So this is your spoiler warning. This is your last spoiler warning. Eric, what do you want to talk about for our spoilers?
I want to talk about the fact we had 5 people in the top 14 tonight.
Yes. Who were they, Eric?
Jeremiah, Lane, Madison, Riley, and Wade.
Some pretty good talent.
Yeah.
I think we took the best of the best from this season, from this episode.
I'd say all the people who made top 14 so far, the best ones are in this episode.
I got to tell you, yeah, that's what I'm starting to notice. The top 14 that we've been building, it's really good. Like it's real so far.
I say so far I'm looking at it, and only 3 of them have got me genuinely, even remotely excited.
There's a couple I'm excited for. I'm excited for Alejandro, Wade, Lane, Madison. Like
for me, it's Madison, Jeremiah, and Walker Burrows. I really 3 of them excited about so far.
I got to keep this all in mind for when we do our draft a little later in the season. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But yeah, some very good talent. I like that Lane. I'm happy Lane made it. Happy Wade made it. Jeremiah, Madison, Riley would be the one. I would maybe be okay with maybe swapping out, but she's still really good, and maybe she could still give us some good performances moving forward. Otherwise, any final thoughts?
I'm good.
All right, guys. So this is another episode in the bag. We will be back. Before we come back next week on next Tuesday, we will have another episode covering the episode that airs tomorrow. It'll either be Saturday night.
Is there an episode tomorrow?
I think there is, right?
No, there isn't.
There isn't. I thought there was one.
I know. Let me double check real fast.
All right. Well, anyway, I'll just say to our viewers, thank you for continually supporting our podcast. For joining us in the chat, if you were one of those people. We had like 6 people watching at one point.
Yeah, not tomorrow. Sorry.
No episode?
No
episode
episode
for the week?
We're done for the week. Next Sunday we'll be back and at 7. And then Monday we'll be back again at 7.
All right, guys. Well, I guess we'll see you next week. Until then, this was a fun podcast. Eric, thanks once again for joining me, for helping with the podcast. And see you guys next time. Peace.